Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your cosmic comicologist, the host of Venorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Also, the publisher, editor, and writer of Venorama, the Journal of Heroes and Monsters. You can find it on Amazon. We should have a new issue out pretty soon. So today, you might guess, we're going to be talking about, well, this is the original 1981, 82, 83 Avengers versus Justice League, or Avengers and Justice League, or slash, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about that's going to be the next comic book series I review. There's only 4 issues, but they're all wonderful. And we're going to try not to over talk about it, but, well, as you know, that might not work. So I'd heard about this in the comic trades. This magazine is Comics Interview, which is published by David Anthony Kraft, who I learned about from their excellent series, The Southern Nights, which I got into in the later 80s, but this is a back issue, I believe. I purchased somewhere, found it, maybe? I don't know. But this was, I bought this one, issue 55, Southern Nights, which would be worth talking about, I think. I love that series. They did make a slight return once, but they just went on to other things. And this is from 1988. So just a lovely cover there. I mean, it had a dragon as a superhero. You knew that was going to get me. This is issue number 55, which I got right after this, the George Perez issue. It's got the most ginormous, the late George Perez, I know, interview with him by Andy Menken. Jeez, I'm sorry. Let me go back here. This is from 1987. So George Perez, interviewed by, oh, come on. Which, it's just a wonderful, it's super, this book is ridiculously 50th edition. And it's just, George is there and he's young. I met George a couple of times. Andy Mangles, not Menken, sorry, Andy. Who I've corresponded with him a few times as well, but I just got to talk to George a few times. He doesn't have to, there is a lot in here on the Justice League. There is there's a chunk about it here. But we're going to talk about the original one, which is in here. I also got this when it came out, when the X-Men comic book was done. I believe that the cover art is by Will Mineo. Yeah, I think so. Who did the designs for the series, which people love. And I have not ever watched the entire thing. Started to, but I just never got around to it. All right, so back to Avengers Justice League. This team, these are my teams right here. I really, Star Fox, Vision, and Wanda. Still married. Haven't gone through all that nonsense that they went through later on in the 80s and 90s. It wasn't dark and grim. Heroes used to smile. Now I know they're not smiling here, but they did used to smile. Their counterparts are all there-ish, although now it would be Batman and Iron Man, because Iron Man was still a second-tier hero. Spidey isn't even part of the Avengers. Look, Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, second Captain Marvel, Quicksilver, the Flash, Barry Allen, wasn't dead. No, he wasn't dead yet. Hal wasn't dead yet. Superman hadn't died and been reborn. Martian Manhunter, She-Hulk. You'd think that he would go with the Vision since they could do that, but they wanted to go with the Red Tornado in the Vision because they're androids or robots. These are aliens. That works there. Monica was in. So they only changed a lot. These were not the same. They're all a certain color, except for some greens and some reds. Oh, really? So yeah, I see why they. I mean, anyway, I was super excited about this and reading about all of this. There's just I was so looking forward to it, and then it just kind of died. And that's not what I wanted. Oh, that is definitely.
The Justice League of America, the combined might and power of the Man of Steel and the Cosmic Crusader, the Winged Avenger, and the King of the Sea, the Tiny Titan, and the Scarlet Streak, all working together for good against evil as the Justice League of America.
Anyway, that's the cartoon opening. We've played it before. And oh, we're not going to go on to more of that. Sorry, Classics Nouveau. There we go. So I bought this or got it after. There were other magazines about this debacle that happened. But this was probably the best one because it talked to George, and he did not have kind things to say about what happened. And I'm not going to speak ill of any of them. I wasn't there. I don't know what all happened. And any of the people I've met, and I have met a few, the artists and things, um, were always wonderful. But we're just going to look at some of these sketches. I mean, these are sketches, his artwork that he got back that he did. These are classic Avengers, classic Justice League. They haven't even been inked. Now, I don't know who owns these now. I know Rob Liefeld, who I met and talked to and was super nice, despite. You can see the quotes up here that he said political meat grinder again. And he was reluctant to do it, but he wanted to. I mean, he put his heart and soul in these. Like, I don't know, maybe 12 or 20 pages, maybe. Bat and Batman and Captain America fighting. I believe this was actually kind of. Nah, we'll look in the first book next week. But just you know, Hawkeye and the Beast. The Beast was still an Avenger. The Beast had been an Avenger longer than he ever been an X Man. I always consider him an Avenger. It talked to Roy Thomas, who was brought in to save it. Here's where the chronal egg came from, and it's important to me to remember that. We are going to do this a little bit page by page. Oh, is that it? Oh, it is a special project. So it's just a sad thing. I mean, just these great pages. And like I said, Rob Liefeld ended up with at least the originals way back when. I'm going to see if I can find a couple more of them in here. Uh, but a lot of it. Look, there's one of his earliest sketches about the Justice League Avengers from, I believe it says 1973. Now, all of us had combined them as fans, maybe not in like here's actual pages. So I'm really glad that it did get finally done, even though it was not this one. Hawkman blasting the arrow, the lantern with a. That can't be right. Oh, that's Star Fox getting hit. There we go. Star Fox getting blasted with with Hawkman's mace. Just wonderful stuff, and they don't really do these. Look, another ad for the Southern Knights. There's another page there. I can't tell you just how much I'd looked forward to this original one. I never thought it was going to get done, and then when it finally did, I have to say it is still my favorite cartoon comic book series of all time, which you'll hear me say quite a bit. I kind of wish I'd seen this one, but I don't know. I mean, I love Roy Thomas as a writer. I've met him, but Kurt Busiek as a writer is amazing, and he brought it all together so well. And he and George worked together so well. I we'll talk about. I'm sure I'll talk about it. So then we go on to his Titans and all sorts of other, and his Wonder Woman. There's the cheetah. That's the cheetah I would like to have seen in Wonder Woman 84, but alas, that was never going to happen. So it's just a little quick preview of, it was politics and ego and all sorts of things that killed this. I mean, they did make a reference to it, but alas, this original one never got done. And you know, time will let you look at things and revise them for the better. And I think the as you'll hear me talk about the 4 issue series, it was just the way to go. This would have just been a one shot, a big story, you know, maybe 80, 90 pages as opposed to four separate issues. Got so much more. And Perez was able, and the coloring and the inking and everything was, you know, able to be that much and just wonderful. This would have been wonderful too. I would have loved it. And 19 is, you know, a younger agent and would have bought it. I'd have bought more than one. Kind of wish I'd bought more than one of the, the series that came out. So that's it. I mean, that's just a little brief bite here about my favorite comic book series of all time, even though it's limited. And until our next assignment, you know, you can assemble or lambaste, whichever you prefer. And probably didn't ask you to like, share, subscribe, vote in the poll, leave a comment. If you're watching, if YouTube allows this, watch it for a couple minutes. And I hope you enjoyed your wheat cakes. Till our next assignment, this time for real, X7 signing off.